Heartbreak once again delivered to the leader of a heat race, and that was...
Again, you were second. Yeah, you're so close. A couple little things, maybe a tire selection cost you the race.
You start adding them 5, 6, 7 pounds up, and that's what it gets you.
I looked up, and I think Chad or somebody was, they got their arms as far as they can go. I think, well, if I don't screw this up.
Well, first you're depressed, then you get mad at yourself, and then you drink half a dozen beers and just say, oh, well.
It gets brought up about once a week still, so it's like that's something that'll never die. Like hunters claim, like that big buck that gets away, they always remember it forever. It's like in their mind, and that's like my big buck that got away, I guess.
And we were checked out and gone. I come around there, I don't know how many laps was left. I don't know, 3, 4, whatever it was. And I thought, well, if I don't screw this up, I'll make it. And then it just blowed out the bottom. It blowed it up. So pretty frustrating, knowing that you had a shot, because, you never know. So all you can ask for was a shot. We had a shot there, but it just didn't pan out.
Yeah, the memory stuck in my head about driving laps around there. I sit there and I remember driving around there that night, and it was a lot of fun. The car was really good, and it just kept getting better and better and better. It was like a go-kart. It was locked to the ground, and it was good for for what we had. The competition was in them days. It was strong. We changed engines that night after the heat race. We dropped the valves, so we changed engines and went out there, and just was a little bit difference in the engine and got us 2291. So it's tough, but that's part of racing, I guess.
Shannon Babb, 10 pounds light at the scales. That means that the Mac Daddy Dale McDowell will be coming to victory lane. Shannon Babb did not make weight, 10 pounds light at the scales. So Dale McDowell.
It kind of sucks that all this money spent and all the effort goes into just a number, right there that close. To me, it really don't make a difference, but it's the rules. That's what we go by.
Here they come on the end of the top shelf. Remember they had dirt lane ball a dream a year ago. On the outside, Don O'Neill will go to second. O'Neill powers around Boyer.
Yeah, that's probably the worst, because that place it's just so hard to run up front over there every year. You go where you might win in one year, next year you go back and you're no good, and then have a chance and have a good enough race car to win, you feel like, and break lead, and they don't get no worse than that. I'm probably about to tore the steering wheel off beating on it and stuff, and then that's one of the things where you better off just come in and go get changed and leave and not say nothing to anybody. And this was a long ride home that night. I know. Other than that, just to go over and be competitive is one thing, but when you got a good enough shot to win, it just, like I said, it's just heartbreaking.
Well, it's the world. First of all, we all want to win it. Leading this thing, and not just leading. We were half a racetrack ahead by lap 55, and the car is getting tighter. And I know it's the left front fender's kind of bouncing around out of my vision there. I'm like, whatever, it's Eldora. And then Weaver has a flat. On the restart, I'm realizing what was going on. The fender's loose. And when that fender started bending out, flaring out like a parachute, I couldn't turn the 40-acre field, and we ended up 5th again. Well, first it feels stupid. In my case, because I put the cars together. Like I wasn't driving somebody and a mechanic or whatever, but we just built that car mid-season, Rayburn car. And the bottom door came loose because it was riveted, not bolted. And everybody's bolting now, but I did back in the day. That car didn't get bolted. It was a hurry-up, put-together car, I guess. I don't know. So I had to blame it on myself.
Down the back straightaway, here comes Zero. Meanwhile, for the lead,
Zeigler goes
around. They got together in front of your rest of the field, and they caught Jimmy Mars and nowhere to go.
Oh, I think it's just shock. Like, that did not just happen. I'm just sitting there as Mars hits me as I spun up the racetrack, and I thought, no, this isn't happening. I think we really truly had a shot. Scott was really good and he came from the tail, but looking back at our lap times and stuff, it would have been a pretty good race there at the end if we would have been there. But it gets brought up about once a week still, so it's like that's something that'll never die.
Burkhoffer's going to try to make it happen here. He'll slide beneath Bloomquist at far. He passes him. Bloomquist charges back at the stripe. I think it was Burkhoffer. I can't swear to it.
I look back at all these races and the different winners, but it's always a different winner. But I was second, and I was in the hunt, and I could have won that event also. So that makes you feel pretty good to know that you're always in the hunt. If you'd have had, wouldn't have had a caution, or would have had a caution, or just endless scenarios, but that's the way the chips fell, and I don't ever dwell on the past.
So it's Van Wormer off the wall again. Out of fourth, sideways contact. Van Wormer the leader.
I don't think it really set in that I could have won that race, even though I was leading it and we just had some bad breaks here and there. That night it didn't really set in that, that was my one to win, and I was still happy with the third, to race those guys that hard. And for me, I struggle in the long races that usually halfway through it, something goes bad or whatever, and we fade. So to be up front and competing for a win, or even, in the top 5 at that place means so much. It takes so long to get to that stage that when you're up there and you let one slip by, you definitely feel it for a long time.
I tell you what, that Jeep, he drove the wheels off that thing. I couldn't believe what he was doing. But only thing I can tell you, he's got a stiff right bumper, what he's got.
Yeah, I definitely go back and critique it, and just, a couple bad mistakes here and there, and making the move, and then something happening, so you go back and, you can't do nothing about it, but you critique it a little bit and say, yeah, I should have done this different here and there. Maybe someday we'll be up there running again, strong enough that we can be in the top 5 to race for it, and I think at that point, your mind shift will be, let's not make those same mistakes again.
Not just Jeep, but there's been some others that have had their one shot and it appeared they were going to win, and we came through, and whether it's the World or the Dream or that's when I was thinking kind of, it's like, that had to be a heartbreaker.
Do you ever get over it? Can you ever get over it?
Yeah, I think once I eventually win one.
Not until then?
Not until then, yeah.
We've all had them. We had a lot of them. I told Bill Holder a long time ago, he needs to write a book on the ones that got away.
Yeah.
And from me, Larry Moore, you go through the list, we got a bunch of them, and it'd be a hell of a book.
Next week's a new weekend all the time in racing, so you better get over it and go on.
Still think about it, though.
Well, not until you bring it up.
If you have to change motors, what are you going to do?
Probably just get the lawn chair out and drink beer the rest of the weekend.
The whole cliche, boy, that's racing, but I guess that's racing.